Matthew, when did you become a millionaire?
27, 28, and then I lost it all. Another 100,000, another 500,000, and I got all the way up to 4. 650 of it was borrowed on a line of credit. But nobody knows this for 4 years, just daily, just losing thousands, hundreds of thousands, 4,000,000. Sometimes it makes me sick to think about it still.
Welcome, Matthew Teifke, to the Unshakeable Wealth Podcast.
I'm really happy to be here.
You're a real estate investor. You are a real estate entrepreneur, founder of the TR3 Capital, and known for hands-on entrepreneurial approach to real estate. And we're going to dig into that very deep. And I know, as the person that is very open to share things and your life journey, I am very excited and look forward to this podcast because we're going to dig into information that many don't open and share about. We like seeing the success, we like to share the success, but when we're in the valleys, that's when those shares don't happen. And that's precisely, I think, are the moments that need to be shared. And you have absolutely incredible story, and so many will benefit from it. So let's just start with, who is Matthew Teifke and why should people pay really good attention to this podcast?
I'm a father, a husband. I got 2 little boys, and I'm here in Austin, Texas. I'm a Christian, believe in God and Jesus, and really just try hard to support people whichever way I can. I'm 34 years old, and I've really been focused on being a student of the real estate game for 16 years. Started as an agent in high school or college, right out of high school, and just driven by my mom, who was single mom, and she was cleaning houses when I was a little kid, and then she raised me and my brother. And my dad was a great guy, but he didn't raise us, and he's in and out here and there. But she worked really hard, and she did a lot of special things for me, and she's a very special person. And I'm just a guy that is focused and committed. I'm a hard worker. I'm somebody who never quits. Um, and I have been humbled. I've been punched in the mouth from business, and I've gotten closer to God. And I know that I have a lot to offer as far as real estate knowledge and insights on working with people, and have a lot to give back. But on the flip side, I need help myself. And so I'm just always putting myself out there, um, even to a fault, probably going through a transition personally of trying to figure out how to be in the world and not of the world the best I can while caring about people. And I overload myself with hundreds of people that I talk to every day, and then I'm just drained. And so I'm trying to figure that out constantly, caring about people, wanting to make money, but also not having unlimited energy, and not being able to help everybody and be everybody's savior, which I used to try to be in some sense. So that's a quick way, or maybe not a quick way, a long way of answering who am I. But I'm a sensitive soul, I would say, in some sense, and I'm trying my best to make an impact and learn and take notes where I can as well.
You mentioned giving a lot of yourself to help and feeling drained. If we go back to where Matthew comes from, how you were raised, where do you see those things surfacing in your childhood that they're carrying in? And what was Matthew's Teifke childhood like?
Yeah, my mom was she was just always working. So didn't really have a lot of time to talk to us really, even in a sense. She cared, but she didn't have anybody else helping her, and she was making money and working. So I don't even like saying that, because if she heard it, she'd probably feel really bad. But I know that she did her best. So yeah, I grew up playing sports. I remember just being a very hard worker. I wasn't the most athletic. I am athletic, but I wasn't. I came from a city where like baseball is Round Rock is people are really good. And I was good, but I wasn't just naturally super gifted, but I worked as hard as anybody. My My sophomore year, I did not make the baseball team, and I remember that had a big impact on me. Like, I went home crying and felt defeated, and then I just spent the next 8 months just training to make the team, and I remember telling myself, "If I do everything possible, I'll probably make the team, but at least I won't have any regrets." So I did. I was running sprints every night, running up this giant hill, really big hill, and then I made the team. I made the varsity baseball team, and, like, that had an impact on me as a child. I had a younger brother, Sam, who ended up becoming a reconnaissance Marine, and then my best friend was a Navy SEAL, and so we're, like, all, like, pretty intense, and so I've been just driven. I remember being in college, and I'm like, "Man, I'm not that good at baseball." I wanted to walk on at my college and play, but I remember looking at the guys that were on the team, I'm like, "No, these guys are just faster, stronger, bigger, there's no way." And so I gravitated towards real estate, and I realized, like, I can be really good at this, and I can utilize my skills to be great at it.
I was gonna ask you back to the hard work and making the team and playing sports and just going above and beyond in your work ethic to achieve what you wanted to achieve in terms of sports. What was the drive behind? Where does that come from
My my
specifically?
my mom, just straight up. I don't know how many people are listening that were single moms, but I just have such a respect for single moms. It's hard alone. I'm married and I'm raising 2 kids and I'm working and I'm trying to figure it out. But to raise 2 kids by yourself, 2 boys, wild boys, and work a job, and she ended up buying 17 houses, that's a different type of person. That's a different person, and that's just what I was around. That's who raised me. That's who I saw every day waking up at 4 AM, like, she was just getting it, and so, I don't know any other way. Like, I just whatever I focus on, I just become laser focused on and maybe even to a fault, but, she never made an excuse. She coulda made every excuse in the world, and I saw it, and also it's literally in my blood.
Wow. So, do you remember a specific moment or a specific imprint that she left on you, or a specific phrase that she imprinted on you that you carry through?
Not really any moment or phrase, to be honest, just example, leading by example. Even to this day, she takes care of elderly people. She talks to everybody she comes across. She'll have phone calls with people that they'll say months later, like random people, and 8 months later, they're like, "I just want you to know, like, what your mom said, like, impacted me." And I'm like, "What did she say?" And so, literally, I just think she does life right. Everybody speaks highly of her. Everybody would agree with what I'm saying here that knows her, and she just still shows it to this day.
Do you think that's where your acceptance for conversations and speaking to so many people that you mentioned in a way sometimes drains you comes from?
100%. Yeah, definitely. She did a lot to support me, and she still does. A lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't have people that will support them no matter what. And I think part of me is trying to offer that to people. Like, even if I just met you, I'm like, I'm trying to help. And like, I really do. I care. And so that's a hard thing to balance because you can't help everybody. I still need to help myself.
When you say help yourself, what areas are the ones that you see the need for most help?
One, just caring about myself, putting on the mask from the airplane first instead of just giving it to everybody else. Health, I need to work out more. I know that, and I go back and forth. I'll go at high intensity and I'll lose 20 pounds and I'll go run 50 miles or something crazy. And then I'll stop for 3 weeks and gain 50 pounds, whatever. It's so intense one way or another. So I think the big thing is I'm trying to get to more of a balanced state.
Marathon rather than sprints?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody can do the sprint.
Before we go into the real estate, I wanted to just know where was God in Matthew's life growing up? How did that came into picture? When maybe you got closer? When did you get further?
Yeah, just grew up going to church. Wasn't like a huge focus as far as like my mom reading the Bible or doing family Bible studies. But I was always around it, and I think God was definitely shining through my mom the whole time and present. And really, the moment I remember being in high school and you start opening your mind in some sense to like questioning all kinds of things, questioning the man and government and all that. But I went to Africa on a mission trip with a group of people. And I just remember, like, before that, thinking of religion as one thing or associating God with a religion and not really knowing what it really was. And I just was asking a lot of questions in Africa when we were on this mission trip of like, how do you approach this? Or what does this mean to you? And I just remember one thing I feel like is when you hear truth or you speak truth, it's just known. It's just like undeniable. Yeah, that's truth. And I just felt like everything was truth that was being spoken to me. And I respected how people were and how their energy was, and they were peaceful and they were loving. And I was like, yeah, this is it. This is the answers are here. So that was when I was 19 or 20. And then just over time, gotten closer and further and closer and further and closer and further. And still seeking God. They say like David, he would do horrible things, but then he was a man after God's heart, and I feel like that sometimes. And another cool thing that I heard recently was I actually was at an event where Bear Grylls, you know who that is? He was speaking, and he's a strong Christian man. And he was just talking about even he struggles now. Is God real? Is Jesus real? And that's okay. Like it's okay to bring these things up. And that's one of the things that I try to do whenever I'm talking or speaking is like just don't act like everything's perfect and I have everything figured out because none of us do. And but a lot of us on stage act like we do. And I get on a lot of stages. Like just it just happens. I am a leader. I don't want to be the leader. I just want to be a leader. I'm a gatherer. And anyways, Bear was talking about how he resonated with the man on the cross that died with Jesus. That was just reaching out his hand, please take me, accept me. And that was a different perspective than I know that story, but I never thought of it that way of who I am too. And probably who all of us are. Not so much, "I'm good, we're good, I'm walking right next to you, I'm in." It's, "No, I need you, man, I need help, I need to be closer to God and Jesus, and, I can't resist temptations or sin without him, I can't do it on my own." And so, that's another long way of answering your question, but it's a journey of back and forth and just wanting to not be that, wanting to stay close to God, um, but there's challenges everywhere in this world.
We're gonna come back to that because I have a follow-up question on it. But let's get into the real estate part because you have been for a long time in real estate and have been very successful at it. And then there has been a value for you, which is the most exciting part. Not exciting to be in it. Of course, it's a challenge, but it's exciting to see the other side of things, of success and what it takes. How did you get into it? Why did you decide to go for a journey in real estate?
Yeah, bomb. That's the simple answer. But also, I remember I was working at Wingstop in high school, and I remember I was mopping the floor, and I'm like looking at the clock, and I don't remember we got off at 11 or 12, but it was late. They opened late, and all my friends were out hanging out, and I'm like, I need to get out of here. And I just remember like I can even vaguely remember the song. I can hear it in my head, but there was music playing. And I just was like, I can't look at this clock and just want time to pass by, like want time to speed up. And if you think about it, when I think about that, like if we want time to fly by and time to pass, like that's just a wasted life. That's like all we have is time, right? And that just was like an impactful moment of I got to become an entrepreneur. I can't work any set hours. I don't want to look at a clock. And that just drove me to real estate because I could see that real estate would provide that opportunity to not check in or out based on the clock.
And then you started with single family or multifamily? How did the actual real estate
Yeah.
started?
I started as a real estate agent in college, and I was a sophomore in college, and I was taking classes, and I just signed up for the real estate license classes and ended up passing the exam. And then I found a local brokerage in Corpus Christi, Texas, where I was going to school. And then I was just like super focused on I want to do what my mom did in some sense. I want to be really great at this, but I want to be a real estate agent to learn and to see how other people did it. I remember always having a list of questions, like just notebooks of questions that I was in my brokerage office and just somebody would walk in and I would just start talking to them like, "Hey, what do you know about this or this?" Or and they weren't like basic questions. They were like pretty thought out, like I can't find the answer type questions. Even then I got to a competitive point where I'm like, I'm trying to ask these guys questions that they don't even know the answer or they never even thought about it. So that was 3 years all through college. I was selling houses and I did pretty well at it. Like my first year I sold 1 or 2 houses, and by my senior year of college, I sold 8 or 9.
Oh,
And then I knew if I just stayed there that I'd sell 20 and 40 and 50. But I wanted to come back to Austin where I'm from. And so I did. I just moved back here after that college experience. Then I went on to get my master's degree in real estate from Texas A&M, and that was a whole experience in of itself. I would say a fish out of water in sense where like most of these people were I don't necessarily want to say smarter, but maybe smarter than me. Like I was taking these classes and I'm like, I don't know what. I don't even I'm trying, but I'm not following. But I got through and that was a really cool experience for me and there's been a lot that happened after that, but it was a journey of real estate all through college and school. Working, I'd say learning the book smarts, but also getting the street smarts of actually closing deals. And that became a pretty powerful value for me that I could hold on to and have a confidence. Like I have this confidence and did have a confidence of I can be in any room of anybody talking real estate and having that at 25 and I can figure out how to bring value.
that's incredible. That's at such a young age to be so aware, asking the deep questions and realizing that you have value to add when many lack the confidence or feel like they're imposters. What do you think
Yeah.
helped you with that? Was it just the experience that you gained selling houses, the masters altogether, or like the drive for curiosity and asking those hard questions?
Yeah, all the above. When you're in it, when you're in it, like whatever you're doing, then you just know. Like every word, every question, every sentence, it's not just words. It was like, I'm saying this specific word for a reason, and also the word that follows it. And I'm listening to the words you're saying deeply. And so it was just undeniable. Like I knew it. I lived it.
Question for you on the university path. So in Corpus Christi, when you were just doing your bachelor's, you were already selling a lot of houses. You said 8 or 9 by the time you were senior, and you knew that if you stayed in the same trajectory, you would have sold 20, 30, 40, 50. Why get a degree? Why keep going after a degree? The funds are flowing in, so why bother?
Two things I'll say on that. I actually didn't want to go to college at all. And I remember telling my mom, I'm not going to college. I'm just going to get my real estate license and sell real estate. And she said, if you do that, I'm cutting you off. And that meant she paid for my college, right? I don't know if I was scared that she was going to cut me off or I more respected her opinion. I'm not sure. But I didn't want to go to college. And so I did. And I met my wife there the first day I moved there. So that was made it all worth it. But yeah, that I had gone through it. I got my degree, my college degree in history because I just really enjoyed history and I had some good professors. But after I went through it, then being really hyper focused on being great at real estate, and I found out about this master's degree, it was really just a process of thinking like 10, 20, 30 years down the line, like this will be a very valuable thing for me to have if I want to be good and be great. Like a master's degree in real estate will be a differentiator and it will help me and it will teach me. So that was just the progression of me really just caring about what I was doing and wanting to be a student of the game. I couldn't in my head like move forward and be an agent or an investor and not have that. Like I just had to have it. And I'm lucky that I got accepted. I couldn't get into Texas A&M out of high school. They wouldn't accept me. But I think the key was I never really asked, but I believe the key was when I applied to go there, I had an experience level that it's not like I was like, 30 years old and applying and I was a real estate agent for 4 years. Like I was 22 or 21 and I was an agent and I won the rookie of the year. I won the rookie of the year against agents that were full time and I was taking 18 hours college credits. And so like those little things just they looked good on paper. And so then I got accepted into that program at in College Station.
You brought the receipts from real world.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So with the master, when you were going in, the idea was that 10, 20 years, like you said, it's going to pay off and it's going to be worth it. Now that you are far from that master, do you still feel that way? Have you seen how that played out in a meaningful way for you? And the reason why I'm asking this question is because I hear a lot now pushbacks against college degrees and university degrees. So you having all the experience, including in college while studying, and then after that being very successful and still going after a master, do you still see value? Is it everything that you expected?
Yeah, it's a tricky question because I can honestly could argue both sides of it. More so from college in general, but the real estate specific definitely was valuable. And I met my wife, right? So that alone makes it all worth it. Understanding history, that's valuable in ways that I probably don't even recognize. But I would say the big thing really was the confidence. I can't explain how important that is, but real estate's tricky or any business that takes knowledge. If you don't have confidence, that's a problem. Like you can't really make progress if you're not confident in your knowledge or that you belong. And so that degree just really it shows it means something, right? There's a plaque on the wall right behind me, right there. There's two of them. Bottom one's the masters, and some people I've started talking about it a little more. I remember early on, like people didn't really care, and so they think I'm like bragging, and I'm not. I don't think I'm anything special. I'm a sinner. I fail every day, just so everyone knows. But it does mean that I did something, and there is value to it. It's a hard program to get into. But having the confidence to know I belong in this room for a lot of reasons. One of them's that degree on the wall, but that's one of 10 reasons. The other reasons I've actually closed deals. I own deals. Like I know different aspects of this business than you've ever thought of to a lot of people. Because I started as an like real estate agent, I was leasing houses, I was managing properties in college. I was doing this master's type stuff where people go to JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. I got my appraiser's license. I've wholesale deals, like just a lot of different angles, right? And just small example, but if somebody was leasing a property, I'm like, okay, how do you approve a tenant? Well, we make sure they have no felonies and no evictions and that they make 3 times the rent. What software do you use to do how do you run somebody's credit? I was just asking and I was like wanting to know every little angle. And a lot of people don't think like that because they're just kind of let me make money, let me make money. But when you're you're putting all the screws together and you're tightening them and you're wondering how they're made and where does the metal come from. That's back to what I was saying, every little word, every little thing. It comes to be a benefit to you in ways that you don't even understand, but you just know you belong. So that confidence, I remember like in college, I literally called Donald Trump's office. Literally, I was trying to talk to him on the phone. Is Mr. Trump around? They're like, and this is before he was like 10 times as famous as he is now, but he was still very famous. And I did the same with Warren Buffett. Like I talked to, I'm pretty sure you can just call his assistant, even like right now. And they're like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I'm Matthew Teifke. What do you want?" "I'm just looking for some advice." Didn't have the best answer, but I was just putting myself out there, just trying to gather information and trying to be in the rooms.
Did you get a hold of Trump? What did
No,
I tell you?
I think they gave me like at the time he did have a real estate brokerage, but you had to be in New York, and they gave me like a way to apply for it.
Oh, cool. That's
Yeah,
step 1.
yeah. So it's just funny looking back, but that's a level of confidence. Like I would have got him on the phone and I would have just started talking. And I would have tried really hard to actually like learn something or bring value and not just talk to say I did it. It's not even something I don't think I've ever told anybody about that. I just did it.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. It shows just your drive, 1, your ability to not be taken back by embarrassment or lack of knowledge or what other think or feel. You have a very focused attitude and you're like, whatever I need to do, and I'm gonna get the hold of the best.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, if he answer, great. If not, I've tried. Hey.
Yeah, exactly. I can't, like I told someone yesterday because he's trying to do some deals and he's like, I'm not a door knocker. I'm like, dude, nobody's a door knocker. Everybody, I would assume, is nervous to knock on a door. But like the fact that you go do that and will do that opens up something in your subconscious brain possibly that just makes you better and eliminates fear.
Fear of rejection. Yeah, overcoming that.
But just knowing that you're willing to do whatever it takes too. Like I remember knocking on doors in college and I just didn't even want them to answer. But I wanted to like at least know that I was willing to do it. Like I just had, for whatever reason, I just had to have that. I did it. I was willing to. And then I didn't have to go knock that many more. At least I knew I was willing to try.
Matthew, what's the drive behind just keep going? You see a lot of people that get their license as an agent and they just stay as an agent. They don't go after the appraisal license. They don't go to the wholesale side. They don't go to the management side. What is behind this drive to learn and just be the best at it?
I really just believe it. The only way I know is I don't think it's anything that I just am more motivated than other people or work harder. I can only attribute it to my mom. Like it's just what I saw and what I know. And definitely want to make her proud. Want to if somebody like her did everything in her power to set me and my brother up the best way possible. If I didn't pass that forward in a good meaningful way, then I would be making what she did a waste. That's how I feel.
And if that would be the case, how would that affect you?
I would just be wasted life. I would be disrespecting what somebody did before me. Somebody, your friend or family or whoever, they build this foundation for you, and they spend their whole life building that foundation, and then you just go to the beach or whatever you do. I don't think you can. You're not required to carry on things for somebody, but like you might be. I don't know. But if somebody sets something up for you and you either waste it or destroy it, is just doesn't feel like it just doesn't feel right.
Is that your why?
Part of it, yeah. I feel like personally, God created us. He created something for us to also enjoy. Like, yeah, sin took over the world, but he didn't have to create us. And like it is a beautiful world. It's a fallen world and a sinful world, but it's a beautiful world. And like we're meant to go experience it. And I've got two little boys. Like I told you, my dad wasn't around growing up. He actually lives with me now, which is cool.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
and I love
awesome.
my dad. I wanna make an impact on my boys that I didn't have a father, right? You learn as a young boy, you don't really understand, like, how meaningful it is to have a father, but, like, every boy needs a father, and so I want to do that for my boys. But I didn't even realize, like, how that affected me and probably still don't realize how that affected me. And a lot of people don't have fathers or mothers, right? But just this aspect of it, I just want to offer that to my son. So that's another why. I wanna set them up for success the way that my mom set me up for success.
Where would you want to had your dad when you're growing up? What were those moments that were crucial for you?
And just everything. I can think of things now that I'm teaching my boys, they're 7 and 5, and I'm, like, teaching them whatever I can, and I'm like, "Wow, nobody ever taught me this." I didn't even know that I had that. I don't know the best way to explain that, but I'll tell you one thing that's funny, but I do this little thing where I say arms, like my whatever they're doing, I say arms, and they come and they put their arms around each other, and then I'm talking to the both of them, right? Whatever they're doing, arms, they just drop it and they run over,
Awesome.
and then I'm like a military, like a drill sergeant, right? And I'm sitting there like staring at them, and I'll say one word, and then they say the following word. So I'll say Teifkes, and they say never quit, always they say, "Never quit, always forgive." And then I say, "Time kills." They say, "All deals." I say, "Mom is dang beautiful." And then I say, "Washington." They say, "Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Adams, Jackson, Van Buren." They start listing all the presidents. And then I say, "Fear is." And they say, "A sickness." And then I say, "Ride together." And they say, "Die together, bad boys for life." And they walk off. And it's like my little thing that I'm passing on to them. It's just cool. But, like,
Wow.
I never had a dad that did anything like that, and I love my dad, but he just he was going through his own struggles, and, I don't even know what exactly they were. I had to learn things that I'm not even aware of without having a dad around, and it made me a stronger person for sure in many ways, but I didn't need to learn it that way, and nobody does. It's not how it's meant to be.
Did you guys have somewhat of a relationship while you were growing up, or you amended it now that you're older?
Yeah, he's just always, like, just a cool guy, like, just we'd see him when we'd see him, and we wouldn't when we wouldn't. But when we would, he would be the funnest guy, and we'd go golf, and we'd play like 4 rounds of golf, 18 holes 4 times in a row, and, like, we go to dinner, and then he'd drop us off, and then we wouldn't see him for 4 months. So, it was always great when he was there, but it was never like I don't know what he went through still, but I'm sure he went through some stuff. My parents were they dated all through high school, all through college. They were married for 9 years, and my dad was almost became a professional golfer. He was obsessed with golf. He's really good at it, and they got divorced, and I don't know what spiral that put him or my mom into, but they stayed close friends. They always spoke highly of each other, and they didn't really bring a lot of negativity to me and my brother, but there's just times when my dad would he's supposed to pick me up for something, and he just wouldn't show up, and I could never count on him for anything really. Like, I just didn't know if he what he said was gonna happen or not. But I kept waiting around. I just try to, impact other my boys and other boys because I know how meaningful that is, and I'd love to get more involved with, like, programs if I can find them. I did a Big Brothers program, and there's this little guy, Dominic, out of Corpus Christi, and I still talk to him. But I was in college, and he was, like, 9 years old, and I'd pick him up once a week, and we go to the movies or to the mall or whatever it would be, and, like, I still talk to him.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
How did it make you feel about the unknown of your dad not being able to count on you? What feeling
Uh,
going through?
it's just such a I don't know, I think I just did what I needed to do to shell it off, and, yeah, just can't count on him. So, at some point, it just happened so many times that I just had no expectations. But, like I said, I would feel bad if my dad watched this, honestly. because I don't want to make him feel bad, and I love him, and I do believe that he was going through things and he was doing the best he can, and he literally, as of the last week, lives with me. He's probably trying to make up for lost time the way he can, and so I have forgiveness for him and for everybody, but we just don't even really talk about it. It's like, he's here now. It is what it is.
When my mom had to move to a different country and I was 16 and my brother was 4, so I found myself to be an orphan basically in a way, raising a 4-year-old with a 4-year-old in my lap. It was like I can understand what you feel when you don't have a parent there and you're trying to figure out and put the big boy's pants on and just do life you, like taking responsibility for the things that some kids don't because they have the dad and the support of a parent there. And now looking back, I am so thankful because and it took me a lot of wisdom to understand that because it's all the things that I have built that I would have never been able to build in me as a character to get what I've gotten and be where I am if it wouldn't have been for those times. So sometimes we feel like we're
Right.
hurting our parents, but I feel like it's more of me realizing, hey, I'm actually thankful that you weren't there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and you'll probably have a lot more compassion for people and a different level of understanding that you can take that and use that for good in the world.
Yeah. So Matthew, when did you become a millionaire? What
uh
age?
27, 28, and then I lost it all.
Then I lost it all. So before we get to the lost it all,
Yeah.
did you have that drive of I want to become a millionaire? Or it was like, oh, it just happened.
Yeah, I don't think it was like that, like, I wanna be a millionaire. I think it was more like, I wanna build the best real estate company in the world and be a billionaire, but not, like, for that. I just was, like, always super competitive. Like, I just remember being 18 years old and just, like, reading about real estate and selling houses and thinking, "I don't think there's another 18-year-old in the world approaching real estate like I am right now. And if they are, I need to be doing more." That's just how I thought. And then at 19 and 20 and 21, I'm like, who's 19 and sold X amount of houses? And I don't know if that's the ego or not, but it was a competitive thing about me. And having a real estate brokerage in Austin and a property management company in Austin and thinking, who's got the most doors? I got to have more doors than them. That's just how I was thinking at the time.
Did you ever find yourself thinking that somehow all of this makes you worthy?
Yeah, I think I felt like that was required to make me worthy. And now looking back, I wish the biggest thing I look back on is I wish somebody would have been like, "Hey man, you don't have to do all this. You're good." Because it wasn't a I didn't need anybody to tell me to work harder. I needed people to tell me to work less. And I think it's probably part of learning and growing up. Everybody works a little bit harder when they're younger, I think, because you're just so motivated, but when you get a little older, you realize it doesn't even really matter. Like, none of it matters. What matters is, like, what does my wife say about me, and what do my kids say about me, and what does my family say about me? I could become a billionaire and think I'm something special, and I feel like before I lost money, I was on that path. Like, I was just built up because of money, and my worth to people was money that I had, and I made myself think that was worth I could bring to people, and like, that's not my way to solve problems is by money. I don't want that to be, but I think I was trying to make that.
So you were saving since you started college, probably maybe later. Am I correct in terms of getting to that million or the hitting that first million? And then you got to 4, right? And then you lost it all. How did
Yeah.
that happen?
I made $1 million in 1 year. 1 year. I remember I like made a profit 1 million. I was like, whoa. But I believe there was a publicly traded cannabis marijuana company. And I really believed in the plant. And I was like, this is going to be something that is legal one day and people aren't going to think about it the same way that they think about it, and it's better for you than beer. That's how all those things that were running through my mind. And I found the best company in the industry. I was like, I wasn't trying to gamble. I studied it. I read all the public filings. I knew who all the board members were. I looked at the financials, and it's my fault and my responsibility, but I believe there was a scam. And so the way I say it is I allowed myself to be scammed. But I would put in like 1,000,000, and then I would put in another 100,000, another 500,000, and I got all the way up to 4. 650 of it was borrowed on a line of credit. And just at some point, it kept going up and up. At a time, it was worth like 5.8 million. And I'm thinking I'm the smartest guy in the world. Nobody knows this, but cannabis is going to be legal and people aren't going to think so negatively about it. Like, those are all the things I was going through in my mind. But then it just hit this inflection point where it was just like for 4 years, like down 50K, down 70K, down 10,000, up 20, up 10, down 50, like just daily, just losing thousands, hundreds of thousands, 4 million. Like, sometimes it makes me sick to think about it still. That's a lot of money. Like, I could just pull out 100,000 and it wouldn't affect anything. Still have 3.9. Yeah, it was a humbling, it was a depressing, all the good things I had done in real estate, they got just destroyed in my mind. All the momentum, all the things that I was building. And for me, it's a tragic story. For some people, it probably doesn't matter, but I wasn't buying Ferraris. I wasn't buying $1 million house. Like, I was trying to do the right things. I tried to invest in the best company in an industry that I believed in, and publicly traded, had the on the board as the Prime Minister of Canada and the Speaker of the House, the United States government, Senate, Kevin Boehner. And I thought I was in the right spot, but it goes to zero. I put myself in this crazy financial hole that, like, yeah, I made it and I can make it again, but that's a lot to make back. It's not easy to make that. If I lost 100 or 200, okay, I'll make it back in a year. But 4 million probably took me 10 years to make. I might have made it in 2 or 3 years, but it was a 10-year process.
The
I'm
overnight success that takes 10 years.
Yeah, so I'm still recovering from that financially. Like, I still have my line of credit. I still am trying to, like, figure out how to get out of that hole, but I know that either I will or I will have a good story to share about it. And either way, I am truly, if I could go back, yeah, it'd be easy to say I'd do it differently, but I believe that it made me a much better person. And I believe, like, I can relate and understand people in a deeper way because of it.
Can you go a little deeper into that? Much better
But just
person.
like have to go from, like, my mom when she was buying houses, we were middle class. A lot of people thought we were like super wealthy just because my mom had 16 houses, but she had debt and taxes and insurance, and she wasn't making that much money. But grew up middle class, around money in some sense, then had a lot of it. I've had it's not like I've been a billionaire, but like probably like a lot of people in America that have made some money. Like, I've had the best steak and the best wine, and I've been to the top of the building, and you know, thought that was unique and special, and then I realized, like, it's not. And then I've been at the bottom where I'm like, I have no idea, am I gonna be able to is my credit card gonna fill up the gas, or is it gonna get declined? I don't know, truly, like, I have no idea. And then I'm, like, kinda climbing out of it to the top and the bottom in some sense. Could have been higher, yeah, it could have been lower, sure. But, like, the emotions and the feelings are just humbling in a way of, I'm not better than anybody, I'm not worse than anybody, but I can bring value, I can understand you, I can understand, like, people on both sides. I'm not here to judge one way or another because could have judged me when I was on the way up or on the way down. And so I just have a different understanding of, we're all in different spots. We're all trying. We all probably experience the same emotions in different ways over the holidays. I'm talking to my neighbors, and they got family problems, right? Like their mom's not talking to their uncle or whatever, and my mom's not talking to my brother personally. And I'm like, wait a minute, we all have the same thing going on in our family in some different little variation. And then we go out into the world and we take those problems out into the world. And man, if we could just solve our family problems, we'd probably be 1,000 times better as in this world. But I just have this just compassion of I've been on both sides of it. I'm 34. I've lived in 22 houses. My son is 7. He's lived in 9 properties, including an RV park. I just moved into my childhood home, and I doubt I'll ever leave again. Who knows? I just feel blessed to be here. I don't have a need to have this crazy story. Like I've already got one, and I could live here for the rest of my life and not feel like I lived a boring life. So I just feel blessed to be where I'm at. And I just have compassion and love for people. And I think also, like, I had to forgive myself. I felt so dumb. And so this affected my family, my wife, and my kids in different ways. And so I put all that blame on myself. And it is on myself, but like, it's okay, Matthew. It's okay. And like being on the stage, me now versus me then, I'll talk about things that are more impactful, and I'll talk about God and Jesus and struggles versus being on stage and thinking I'm God's gift to the world and I have no problems and just selling myself that way.
You mentioned walking in and out from God, and I think, like you said, it's everybody does that, including myself. Where were you when you walked into this loss with God? And where were you while being in the loss with God? Was it the same? Was it different? What shifted?
Yeah, why God? Why? Mad at God. I do remember there was a point where the account was worth like 1,000,000 too. And I remember like hearing God tell me to sell it and move on. And I didn't listen. I just didn't listen. So that was interesting that he was right. Or not really that interesting, just fact. But I just like just up and down and just got closer and then just realized like I have no other option that other than I need God right now. I don't know how I'm going to pay my next mortgage. I need you to help me, God. Like that level, right? And I'm a little out of that, but not really. Like I'm still like 60, 90 days at a time. But I closed the most real estate I've ever closed last year, and I'm making more money from real estate, specifically ownership, than I ever have. Not necessarily making more money, but like I'm finally getting like good passive, decent passive income from properties that we're buying. I'm still coming out of it, but like just got closer to God and just realized like when it talks about in the Bible, God feeds the birds and the animals, and you think he's not going to feed you. I've just had to learn that, yeah, he actually is going to feed me every time and I'll be okay. It might not look like what I used to think it would look like, but I don't want it to look like that.
What did you used to think like?
I'm God's real estate gift to the world. That's probably somehow I felt something like that. I'm the best, I'm the smartest, I've done more than everybody in real estate, and getting value from that.
What is it like now?
To be a leader, to be honest, and to share struggles and challenges and be vulnerable and bring that out in others and explain that I do have something to offer, but at the same time, be okay to ask for help where needed, to get into the arena with other people and think they're in my arena, to not use leverage just because I can, right? Just because I can get a better deal or this is a simple thing that I've thought about, but it's to me it's meaningful. It's when people are considering investing, right? I'm not judging people for doing this. The base metric is let's say that you come to me and you're wanting me to invest with you, or you need a loan. I'll loan you money at 7% because I can make 6% over here. So I got to make more than that to give you this money. What happened to I'm just going to believe in you and bet on you and I don't have to make the highest financial return just because I like where did this baseline metric come? Why can't we just invest in somebody to invest in that human being? and not have this base minimum return metric. Those are things that I just want to break out of. I don't want to invest in you to make 7 because actually should have been making 6. I might make 2 or I might be negative, but the right thing is to help you and to invest in you.
Because the return is meaning
Yeah, because return is meaning.
and internal fulfillment.
Yeah, and not an external driven by the scoreboard of the monetary return that somehow makes us feel better about ourselves. Yeah, we have to pay bills and we have to keep the lights on, all that. So you have to make money. But we don't have to make the most money every time.
I think that's very powerful what you just said.
I think so too. And I wouldn't have thought like beforehand.
It is just seeing someone for being the human, not seeing someone as being a potential pile of funds, whatever you can call that.
Yeah.
Passive, non-passive, active, but seeing someone for who they really are. And like you said, truly believing in them, for them, not for your own selfish benefit of it.
Yeah. There were things in the Bible where they would eliminate debt. After 7 years, the debt's just gone. Like God told them to do that. I just had a guy come on a show that I host on Thursdays, and we raised like $1,700, and I think it will actually be more like 5,000. There's these families in Pakistan that they get in debt and they become slaves. And $300 can free somebody. They have kids that are working there, and I know this guy very well. And he's personally going over there and helping solve this. And we're raising money to help. And I told everybody, whatever we put in, I'll match it. I don't even really have the money to do that, but it's the right thing to do. And I'm not perfect, all the things. But I do believe that God is proud of my effort here. But I just have to figure out how to not give too much effort, because I just give all my effort and it's not sustainable.
Filling your cup first
Yeah.
in a meaningful way rather than in a way that
Yeah.
the world thinks.
Yes. Yes. Amen to that. Amen to that.
Can you share with us some of the ways God has shown up in these moments? Like you mentioned, sometimes you don't know if the money is going to be there to pay the mortgage, or you don't know if at the grocery store your card is just not going to go through the payment because there's not enough. How does God has shown up when the math and the outside just doesn't make sense?
It always takes care of itself. For my whole life, I've always just given everybody everything for free. Just, I'll help you every way I possibly can, and I'll just give you everything I have. I started charging people for certain things just within the last 2 weeks, and people are paying it happily, and they're telling me this is so valuable. No one ever told me this when I did it for free. But wow, I am good at making money. But I have the ability to just every day have people pay me 300, 400, 500 for doing a phone call with them and a broker. I know that I'll over deliver on the value. That came in the last 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, I bought myself 60 days of runway of paying the bills. The last day of the year, we closed a $44 million apartment complex. There's all kinds of small little things that are very clear that God was all over it. And that's paying me $5,000 a month passively. And so it's just little wins that are keep sustaining. And at the same time, there's a lot of momentum. We bought 667 doors. This year, we'll probably buy 1,000. I can recover from all of this within a year or 2 years in a big way. And then just hopefully I don't have to learn the same lesson again. Please, God, let me just have learned this lesson, please.
Did you feel like you have?
Yeah, I do, but I know that I can get away from it quickly if I'm left on my own. I have to stay connected with God and pray and read my Bible and keep things in perspective, because I definitely could get lost again. I cannot do it by myself, by like sheer willpower. It's not possible.
When did you realize that?
I don't know. Probably in the last couple months. I can't think of a specific moment, but I've just recently thought, probably just that when I'm at the lowest. It's not that I want God, like I need God. Like I just need it.
I see so much wisdom in you at such a young age. Such a blessing.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you making time here. And I feel like I'm just venting in some sense, but it feels like a good space. And I just really want to come from a place of value and just make an impact where I can.
You are. You truly are. There's so many nuggets of wisdom in this, and your vulnerability in sharing the heights and how you were thinking. It's not easy to say, I was thinking I was it. There will and a gift to this world, and realizing that first, that your value does not come from any of the achievements. Your value is because you're here. You're a gift to the world because God chose you to be on this earth. And just you coming and sharing the vulnerabilities in the valley and the fact that you have a 60-day runway. That's the story that no people share. And that shows so much courage and so much growth in you. So it's easier to hide it and try to be somebody that you're not and pretend that you're living a life that you're not. But it's the hardest thing to come and say, I have made the mistake. I have thought this way. And I'm here and I'm going to get out. And I'm going to do it with God, partnering with Him.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, if I can help, or I know that a lot of us deal with it, right? I know that what I do has an impact and it's different and it resonates with people, and I'm just trying to not make it about me.
Yeah, you work 10 years, 15 years, you sacrifice time with family, sacrifice time with loved ones. So things maybe you don't go out with some people, maybe you do, whatever it is, life goes by. Like you said, Matthew, time is the most valuable resource, and then you lose it all. And it's painful and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you sharing and being so about it. But right now I'm in the book of Job, and
Good one.
Martin and I are reading. Martin and I are reading about and talking. I can't talk to you without thinking about the book of Job because he did everything right. And then he wonders, why God? Why me? And no possessions and no health. And he's still staying in integrity and character. He never said, God, I'm cursing you. But it's who we are when things are in the valley that defines us and who we become and what we learn that propels us forward. And if we look at Job, God gave him 3 times more than he had before.
Right.
You invest in real estate, multifamily, so you can help people with that journey. What would be the best way for them to reach out if they need guidance and help in that area? And we'll put that in the description of this podcast. And then if there's any other way, it looks like coaching, you're actually coaching and providing guidance in that.
If I can connect with you or support you in any way, I'd like to try. I constantly give out my phone number and invite people to everything I'm doing, and I honor that. If somebody reaches out to me, they'll hear back from me. That's the last thing I would probably wanna leave people with is you're not alone, and reach out to me if you wanna connect or if this resonated with you or you wanna be involved in any way. The door is wide open with me. My email's mattteifke@gmail, just MATTTEIFKE. Cell phone number 512-914-4806, and TR3Capital.com is our website. I'm on every social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm very easy to get a hold of. I'd love to meet everybody who hears this. If you heard this and you like it, send me a text and give me some wisdom you got too. I'll take it. But I appreciate you and I appreciate being here. And it's a blessing to be able to share our stories and have a space for that. And yeah, you mentioned Job. And when I think about Job, I think, all right, I got nothing to complain about. He had it 10 times harder than me. So God is good. Jesus saves. I'm optimistic. I'm excited about the future, and be fun to look back on some of these things. And I'm glad that you gave me the opportunity to share. Made me tear up a little bit. I don't think I had a real tear, but I got close.
I was trying not to go into the area that will make you too much cry.
It's good though, you know. It's okay to cry on a podcast. I talk to so many people that are struggling, and we all just try to hide it. So that's one of my things is just let the somebody told me this. I don't remember who, but they said, "Let your skeletons dance." And I loved it because we all got so let them dance.
I love it. You said you wanted to be a leader, and you are a leader. You are leading with the courage of, instead of struggling in silence and covering it up, you are leading that path for everyone else that it's in the same struggle. And you're their voice. And that's why I'm so thankful for you coming here and opening up.
Yeah, it's a cool, thing that you said that. I think that that will inspire me, and just saying that I'm the voice for that is cool, so I appreciate you bringing that up. thank you for, I feel like you're a blessing to me today, so thank you.